something I shouldn't be doing.
You are.
Like I'm doing something wrong.
But it's okay.
Like I'm being naughty.
That's
the
how
secret naughty police are going to come yank me out of here.
That's how this is supposed to feel.
All right. Well, there we go.
That's how it feels every single day that I'm on here. I'm like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Although I think this is my first time back over here. Yeah, it is my first time back over since we went on the stream and they moved the camera back.
Yeah.
It's very TV-esque in the sense of like having the camera like right down the gun. Over on that chair, it's further away.
Right over there.
It is. But this one, I'm very much like, oh, you're staring into the eyeball of the camera. It's like being on TV all over again, except for I look way worse than I did a couple years ago. My God.
That happens to the best of us.
Right. It is a Football Friday. We are going to be guest heavy today. We have former Heisman Trophy winner Gino Tetta at 12:30, Ryan Horvat of BetMGM at 1:30. In between, we will sport so stinking hard. Will, you okay back there?
I'm doing blue steel in the camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm not used to seeing like my reflection, and then it was like, ooh.
Right
What's going on over there?
What's going on over here?
Where are the best angles for me?
Who is that handsome devil?
This is why I didn't eat that chips and salsa.
Yep.
What up?
Mm-hmm. I did. For those wondering on the update of my gift cards from Grubhub, I did get a lot of them, but one of them was $25, and they failed to tell me that I needed to order at least $25 worth of food. So there's a bucket of chips and salsa, some tacos, a burrito that is the size of my forearm.
It's a speed bump.
Good Lord. It needs to come with a stop sign. A quesadilla. There's a smorgasbord of Mexican food out there, courtesy of the person who stole my food. Shout out that guy. Actually, I should say, shout out that woman.
Yes.
'Cause everybody keeps saying it's that guy. No. To make matters worse, it was indeed a woman. Just as you would expect.
Right.
When you're like, dirtbag dude.
Yeah.
No, we're not sexist here.
Yeah.
We will shame equal opportunity. If
Usually
you're a
that
dirtbag.
scumbag is a dude.
It's true.
Yeah.
But in this case, we can shame that woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, what are the feelings now?
What?
For
like
you?
in general or
Yeah.
sports? Well, I told you before we cracked the mics that I got home yesterday afternoon after saying this, and I was like, I have made a gigantic mistake.
So for those wondering, Jeff comes to me and he's like, "Hey, Dusty's getting me on Friday. You cool if I hop in the 2-chair?" And I was like, to be clear, whoever comes and asks me in the building if they want to be on the show, I have said yes to. So
Right. I feel super special.
Facts.
Will, hey, do you mind if I come in? No. Jordan Schultz, hey, do you mind if I come in? No. Ross, do you mind if I come in? No.
Let's call you Turnstile.
Yeah, no, man, I had so many people along the way who helped me get here. If you've been doing this, and I know that you've been doing that, you've been producing for how long?
Well, with you guys a year and a half.
But I mean, just like producing.
Yeah. Well, I've been here for 15 years.
Yeah.
Off and on.
Yeah, and then
between this and TV.
Then you had NBC where you were producing there, so you know what you're doing here, buddy.
Yeah, somewhat, more or less.
You get to show off your shirt a little bit more. What do we got?
I am Knuff.
Oh, I
Yes.
still have. You've seen it twice, you said, right?
Well, we own it at home now too, and yes, I have.
It's out already?
Oh yeah. The
Barbie movie's out already. Didn't
Yes.
that just hit theaters a month ago?
No, it's been longer than that.
It was like July.
Yeah. I think we
That's
bought it online.
That's a month ago. In
I have
my
2
time,
girls.
that's a month ago.
Yeah, and I have 2 girls, so yeah, there's a lot of Barbie movies being played in our house.
Summer movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that and Oppenheimer. They came out. Remember? Barbenheimer.
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Yes, the competitive opening weekend.
That still doesn't feel like that was July.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
4 months?
Yeah.
That was
We're
a whole
getting there.
Damian Lillard trade request ago?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened did that come out 4th of July weekend?
Ooh, I don't know when exactly it came out, but it was, summer-ish.
I'm the last person to ask anything about movies or movie timing.
I know that because you've seen nothing new or nothing old.
No,
July 21st.
I saw Avatar: Way of the Water.
Oh, okay, there you go. So July 21st?
July 21st.
That would have been a fun trivia question for just to throw out there. What happened first, Dame's trade request or Barbenheimer? I probably would have leaned Dame's trade request, but that would have been a toss-up for me. But there's 3 weeks difference, but in Damian Lillard trade days, it got weird.
It did get weird.
It ended up being 89 days, I think is what it was. It was a long time. That's probably why I feel like it was a month ago, is because all of that was just a blur.
Yes.
So, we'll figure it out.
Between that and angry Heat fans and dumb Heat journalists.
Vancouver Ford text lines. Look at it. They're giving you support already. Got a heart rust. Yeah, it's useful.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
I prefer Ferrari or Le Tigre. Were those movies that came out?
Oh, El Tigre. That's another Derek Zoolander look, like Magnum. Blue Steel.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
There's a little bit of delay in there. So there you go.
Yeah, see, look, I get references for movies. I just don't watch them.
I haven't watched that movie in such a long time. Zoolander. Yeah. That's the one that's due for a rewatch.
Right.
There's 2 Ben Stiller movies I've told my wife in the last probably 3 weeks that are due for a rewatch. That and Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Tropic Thunder.
I saw somebody.
We did that one again a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
I had somebody send me a TikTok of somebody as Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder for their Halloween costume. Les Grossman.
I will go to my grave saying that is Tom Cruise's best role of his career.
I mean, it's the one he leaned in the most.
Yes.
But for those that haven't seen it, he has like chest implants and butt implants like going on in this costume where he has like comically large forearms as well.
And a bald cap.
Yeah. And it is tremendous. In the costume that I saw, you could have told me it was Tom. Like somebody like went to like not just a regular makeup artist, like they went like this is probably somebody who works in like Hollywood makeup.
Right.
Because it was a like verbatim copy. And I was like, Are you a Halloweensman like in the sense of like getting really dressed up? Yeah?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not really. No. I don't go that far. I'll throw on a little something, but perhaps
Like throw an eye patch on. I'm a pirate.
Right, exactly.
What about you, Will?
I am not Halloween guy at all. I've determined that this year I will go as Jason Suchanek so that I can just wear my normal clothes.
I was telling Will before the show, I do have an old costume that I have yet to bust out. We bought it before we had kids. It's a Reno 911.
And you still have it?
It's Lieutenant Dangle.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, my wife won't let me wear it, like handing out candy to the kids because, well, it would be me and Lieutenant Dangle.
Then it will dangle.
Not terribly appropriate, but and we don't get out to many Halloween parties these days.
What's a better Halloween costume? The inappropriate one, like we saw at the Sam Houston State game, where for those that missed yesterday's show,
oh yes, the giant inflatable penis.
Yes, student showed up in a giant inflatable penis, and the football gods were very mad.
Yes,
because he was ejected. Ejected. To be clear, make sure we enunciate very clearly. The best part about having Rust on this side is you get to hear when I break him now.
Exactly.
But
ejected.
Are you more on the side of freaky Halloween costume or obscenely fun Halloween costume?
Yeah, I'm more on the fun.
By obscenely fun, I mean heavy on the obscene.
We did. My wife and I several years ago. We did a couple's costume type thing, and that's probably a very loose sense of the word.
Sure.
We had some T-shirt. We made some T-shirts.
Okay.
And one was blue, one was red, and we just hand painted on them. On the front, mine said Almond Joy, and my wife's had mounds on the front, and on the back it said I've got nuts, and on her back it said I don't.
That's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think if you sold that idea to the what's the Halloween store that pops up?
Oh, the Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
You could get that in a package.
Right.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm talking about? The clear plastic one with the orange banner.
Yep.
Mounds and Almond Joy.
Yeah.
I bet you that there's 9 out of 10 chance that there's a Photoshop. Like, everybody remakes the Halloween costumes for some meme every year. I bet you that's out there.
Absolutely.
That's a good one, though. My wife and I think I've posted the picture out there before. During COVID, we did Care Bears.
Oh, okay.
And not like Care Bears with like a little like clip on the head. I'm
Right.
talking a full body suit, zip up the back, like full feet over the head, giant Care Bear.
Yeah.
It is the biggest damn blue bear you have ever seen. Like, it's a baggy thing on me.
Yeah. It's funny. The other night, our 7-year-old was going to bed, and she hates brushing her hair in the morning. So she tries to do whatever she can to avoid having to brush her hair in the morning. So the other night, we put her to bed, and she found her older sister's old Care Bear costume and put on the hood as she's going to bed. And we're like, what are you doing? And she goes, I don't want my hair to get tangled. So she slept in it, and she slept in it all night. And lo and behold, we woke up, and her hair was not tangled at all.
I thought you were saying just like a tangled mess.
Yeah, no, she's a genius. She's our little super villain in training.
Look at this, just conquering the world one bad hair day at a time.
Right?
God, you love to see it. If you're watching on YouTube, in which you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/1080am, The Fan, you can see that, number one, I'm not wearing a hat. Number two, my hair is cut. Number three, it is styled. Why? Because it's opening nights for the Portland Trailblazers at home, and I don't look like Not even that I don't want to look. Like, and also, breaking news. Breaking news. I'll do it right here. Put the leg up.
No Crocs.
No Crocs and wearing pants.
This is an upset.
This is an upset. The fact that I have to clarify that I'm wearing pants, dealing with the hips and knees as it were always. My knee is very much an issue right now. I've been opting even more regularly for the Crocs and shorts, regardless of said weather.
Yeah.
I am that monster.
Yeah.
Like what is this dirtbag doing wearing shorts? And not only shorts, I'm usually wearing basketball shorts, not even like nice shorts.
Yeah.
I had somebody who was like, "Are you wearing camo basketball shorts?" And I'm like, "Are you not?"
How'd they see him? How'd they see him?
Oh, it wasn't here. This was like out and about. It was somebody I knew.
But they were able to see him?
Well, yeah, they're not
Even
that
though
camo. They're the wrong camo. They weren't
camouflaged?
They weren't urban camouflage.
Oh.
It's green camouflage.
Mm.
Wait. Good Lord, that's terrifying. Vancouver 4 text line, call Spirit Halloween help desk line and listen to the hold music. Good God. We're going to have to try that during the break.
Okay.
Do they have like terrifying music?
I don't know.
Like, is there something there that,
or is it just like Monster Mash on a loop?
oh God, that would make my brain. Is that the only Halloween song? Or like that's it, right? Thriller?
Well, you got that, and then you got the Doors. When You're Alone. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
Keep going.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah, just
I
leave
got
me here. Leave me here hanging.
I got nothing.
I can't help you.
You said the Doors, and my brain went, nope.
People
I got
are
them confused with the Cars.
crap.
Well, I think I've explained this before. Just about every band.
People are strange.
I still got nothing.
Yeah.
I'll throw it up on the old Spotify in the break. Bands that start with the, I'm out on.
Yeah.
Like the Beatles.
Yeah.
The White Stripes. The Vines.
The
Mhm.
Jimi Hendrix experience.
Slow your roll. Just Jimi Hendrix. Just Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, no. So it's anytime somebody says a band that starts with the, I'm usually like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's kind of along my rule of Ohio State quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like I pick and choose when to apply it.
Right.
It's not a hard and fast rule, but it's a rule until proven otherwise. Like the Jimi Hendrix experience. There you go.
Well,
Like that?
I just had to ask.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist. I'm asking questions.
Look, that glass doesn't protect Russ, and it won't protect you either. All right.
I love the YouTube comments being right here. I'm just giggling the whole time.
Oh, it's so much fun. That's again.
They are hilarious.
That is the joy of being on YouTube, which I'm over here on this computer, so I have to make sure I open it up on this side.
The P1s are hilarious. They
the
are.
The P1s are great.
fantastic.
I'm sure Rufio's already in there causing all kinds of ruckus. Well, where we have to start first, speaking of the ruckus, Damian Lillard brought the ruckus to Milwaukee, and it turns out the entire Eastern time zone discovered Damian Lillard. Coming up next, Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
It's time for a new Blazers season.
The first unit, Scoot. Danny Dusty account. How did you feel watching Damian Lillard make his debut with the Bucks? It happened. Damian Lillard did make his debut wearing the letter O for the Milwaukee Bucks on national TV, and it turns out half the country realizing Damian Lillard a really good player.
Yeah, it's amazing how some people, outside of maybe the mountain time zone, even further east of that, just don't care about what happens over here.
It was very funny and very telling watching people look at it and go, wow, Damian Lillard can really drive the ball. And I'm sitting there going,
where have you been for 11 years?
What the hell have you been watching? Like, I know you don't stay up that late, but look, I know I'm not discounting the whole time zone thing. And I'm not discounting that East Coast people are so oblivious to anything outside of a 5-mile bubble. But also, how the hell did you not realize that Damian Lillard is that dude?
Right? He's a top 75 player of all time. So that should give you, a little bit of an inkling. 32.2 points per game last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
How many times has he been an all-star?
It's not hard to look at that and go, I wonder, because this is Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard Sr.
Mm-hmm.
And he went off last night. I believe in the first quarter, it was only 4 points, if I remember correctly. Then he went for 17 or 8. No, he had 20 and a quarter because they had the stat, or I'm sorry, no, it was 20 and a half, I believe, at halftime on TNT, that only 16 times last year, a player not named Giannis had 20 points and a half. And I believe Dame finished with 21 or 22 in the first half. And Dame was clinical in the sense of being Dame. Now, he missed a couple threes, but he got to the free throw line at an obscene number. I believe finished with 17 of 17,
Man.
9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 12 from 3. Not great from the three-point line. Hilariously, I'll share this with you guys. I texted Dame this morning, wow, couldn't even get a 50-piece, huh, scrub? And he responded with, well, if I could hit a bleeping 3.
Yeah.
So Dame is not even in prime form, dropping 39. And if you heard him in the post game, he talked so much about how the veterans on the team were like, no, do this, no, do this, do this. And he said it was so different because it was one less thing that I had to do.
Yeah. I didn't think I would get as fired up about things last night as I did, because watching the result of that and the way that they looked, it just kind of renewed my anger at the way things went here. Not just over like the trade requests and all that, but the handful of years leading up to it. And the way that his situation was just absolutely mismanaged and mishandled by from ownership all the way down. Yeah,
no, and I think that there's a really strong portion of that from the fan base. I saw it last night all across social media. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I'm the weird dude. Like that is my lot in life. It's fine. I'm totally cool with it. I turned on. I missed the first couple minutes. My wife dragged me to the grocery store, and I got a text from somebody that said, "Are you watching the game?" And I'm like, "No, wife took me to the grocery store." He's like, "I get it, and I understand. When you get back, let me know what you think, how he looks." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I get in there, I sit down, turn on the game, and immediately I just started grinning like an idiot.
Yeah,
I was like, I have pined and wanted him to play with a guy like Giannis, or specifically Giannis,
right,
for so long,
that
it was just, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, and that's what made it so hard, is that
it was there and not here.
Yes, because it felt like it could have been here were it not for, look, we had a guy running things who thought he had a giant pair of stones, but it turns out that he didn't. He liked to tell everybody how big his stones were, which usually that means that you don't. But it's exactly, Milwaukee is another small market team.
It's a kindred spirit.
Yeah, and not a place that draws free agents and whatnot. What does that sound like? That sounds like Portland. And you even had Giannis saying he wasn't ready to commit long-term yet in case, until something happened.
Sure.
They had the wherewithal, and they went out and got it done. And it's just, that's where the one where I'm just kicking myself in the nards. Why couldn't they try to do something like this too? And to me, it comes down to they got complacent with Neil in there because Paul's last couple of years, he kind of took a step back, and the team, I don't want to say ran itself, because that's not really what, I don't know. And then and then he died, and then you've got Jody and Bert, who, I'm sorry, to me, they're nothing really more than hangers on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You got the sister and the old college buddy.
Yeah.
And so they didn't really have any sort of a vested interest in the success of the team.
And it's a transitionary period.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the side of like you want to burn the ground that they walk on, or you're in the middle and you're meh,
Yeah.
or on the other side and you're like, man, I don't actually think it's that bad. Like no matter what it is, it's not Paul.
Yeah.
It's not the guy who had like the guy was salivating for the draft.
Yes.
Like you knew
he had the passion.
Yes.
And it seems like they're just okay with the status quo.
Sure.
Yeah. And so it sucks that you feel like they never really tried to take that swing.
You mix that with Neil O'Shea's complacency,
Yeah.
and willing to run it back and only move around the margins, and it's a perfect example of just the middling.
Yeah. And then
area.
even more recently, just the being okay with saying, hey, we didn't get what we wanted for the number 3 pick, so we're going to ship him out and hope that, he is what you hope that number 3 pick turns into.
Yeah.
Like there's
more
no other
often
way
than
around
not,
that.
Look, and I've said this multiple times. More often than not, the team that trades for the superstar wins the trade, because it's
Well, we'll see.
no. I'm saying that the team that trades for the superstar.
Oh,
like
for the
Milwaukee,
superstar.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The proven commodity is
Yeah.
the thing that wins.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Exhibit
which-
A last night.
Which is why I have look. We go back to the last year. You can find 1,000 different incidents of me saying move the pick.
Yeah.
I have accepted where they are,
Mhm.
and that they made their lot in life, and they are transitioning into a new team, fully retooling. I'm glad they made a decision.
Yeah.
I wish they would have gone the other way because of what we saw last night.
Right.
You saw Damian Lillard not look perfect and still drop 39 and comfortably handle the offense for that team.
Yeah.
They didn't look great in the sense of like Dame and Giannis. There was times where it was like, oh, this is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
There were times it looked a little bit clunky. Giannis ended up taking a bunch of jumpers that didn't really work all that great. I thought that was a little bit interesting. But they're running
They'll figure
picks.
it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They haven't figured out the
Right.
between them yet, and they're still very good.
Yeah.
The 76ers shot 51-47, I think, from the field and from 3. You got 30 from Max. You got 27 from Kelly Oubre.
Yeah.
You had all of that happen, and the Bucks were kind of like, it's not great, but
Right.
like it's pretty good, and they still won.
Yeah.
That team is going to be such a problem going forward.
Mhm.
I genuinely believe that Dame Giannis is going to fundamentally break teams.
Yeah.
They were running screens for Dame at 30 feet like they had in Portland, except
Yeah.
for, instead of Yusuf Nurkic and Al-Farouq Aminu, it's Giannis and Brook Lopez,
Yeah.
or it's Chris Middleton, or it's Bobby Portis, who's a solid role player, and like you're a guy that you can count on.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting to see just how easy it was for Dame to do Dame things.
Yep.
In a manner of which that he didn't have to, even though he did so much, it didn't fall on him
Yeah.
to do everything. He could pick and choose his moments.
Yep.
And know that, hey, I've got the second best player in the world.
Yeah.
On the other side of the floor. Like, I know he can carry the night. It was very interesting to note that the Bucks had a significantly higher plus minus when Dame was on the floor and Giannis was off than it was when Giannis on the floor and Dame off.
Gotcha.
How they figure that out and what those rotations look like going forward is going to be super, super, super interesting. It's probably going to be the thing outside the Blazers that I watch the most.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, we have former Heisman Trophy winner Gino Tetta, who'll be on the call this weekend. for my beloved Trojans at the USC Cal game. I'm sure that's gonna be a fun one to call. Got to contrast the styles going down in the Bay this weekend. How'd you know?
Very much so. I told your producer I was looking at the Golden Gate Bridge as clear as a bell here at Memorial Stadium right now, and it's probably a better view than what people see on the field sometimes or 60 minutes inside of Memorial Stadium. But I don't know. If I was you, I wouldn't be so confident with SC. I think Cal's defense was toe-to-toe with Auburn. I think they can play with pretty much anybody. It's just can their offense score any points?
Well, listen, Gino, if you want to go to confidence meter with me and my Trojans, it's below zero. That thing is sideways and broken right now. There is nothing less confident than me and USC right now. You're going to be on the call for that game.
It is good to know that you're a University of Spoiled Children grad.
Oh, absolutely. Born and raised a couple blocks from Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. That's my world down there.
See, they didn't recruit me. I came out the same year as Marinovich. So Marinovich went to SC and Johnson went to UCLA. So I had to go to Miami from Northern California.
Hey, you made the right choice in staying somewhere warm. I don't begrudge a single guy when they're like, you know what, I wanted to go someplace nice and warm. It's just how it works. You've been watching college football this year, and obviously as another Heisman Trophy winner, looking at Caleb Williams this season. What do you think is kind of going through his head, having, I don't want to call it a burden, but having that Heisman Trophy on the shelf already, coming back for another year before being draft eligible? How much do you think that kind of weighs on a guy when those expectations, when you've already ascended to the highest heights in college football as an individual?
I don't think that weighs on him. I think as a player, you want to compete and do the best. I think people hold a returning winner to higher standards. I mean, you look at Tebow, Manziel, Bradford, all the guys that came back when they won it as an underclassman, and it's like they expect you, if you threw for 40 touchdowns, you got to throw for 50 to have a chance to win the Heisman 2 years in a row. So I think there's that from the outside. I think more the reason Caleb Williams has struggled at times, you got 3 stud offensive linemen that SC lost from a season ago. I mean, that there was a reason that when I went to the Heisman dinner and if all 5 of his offensive linemen are with him,
mm-hmm.
now I know why, because he realized how good those guys were, and then to lose 3 of them to graduation, I think that's been their problem. And defensively, they've just been not good. I mean, they're just, I don't think their personnel is, up to snuff size-wise, and they've been making mental breakdowns, which you can't do. And they kind of just, he's been really a one-man show trying to win every game.
Yeah, I appreciate you going with the not good there. I have used significantly more colorful language when describing the Alex Grinch defense off air. This
is G-rated. This is a G-rated afternoon show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's G-rated for Gino. Gino Tetta, former Heisman Trophy winner of Miami, joining us on the call right now. There's another massive game in the Pac-12 this weekend. It's the game of the week in the country. Oregon heads into Rice-Eccles to take on the Utah Utes, who, despite everything that has happened to them, have you ever seen a team perform at the level that Utah is performing with their 3rd and 4th quarterback, their 4th running back, which is a safety coming over and playing running back, their 1st and 2nd tight ends out? I believe they're missing 2 linebackers, 1 safety, and they've missed at least, I believe, 2 defensive linemen every single week this season. Have you ever seen a team in college football overcome more adversity in the missing personnel segment and be as good as Utah?
I don't think so. I mean, I think though that you got to credit Whittingham and his staff. I mean, those guys, they own the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's really kind of what they've been doing. And I would say this last week. I've seen some crazy finishes. Hell, Miami didn't take a knee, and we let Georgia Tech win the game. I don't even know what the hell happened in that one.
I wasn't going to bring it up. But
wait, but so let me finish. To lose that way, okay, I get it. You see a mistake, but a quarterback scramble for like 20 freaking yards.
Mm-hmm.
to get you in field goal range to kick the game winner against USC. I'm like, how does that even happen? Like I've seen bad defensive plays, but I don't understand. But you know what? Utah is making some plays, and that they're tough, man. Every week I sit there and I watch these defenses, and around the country, SEC, LSU wants no part of contact. When you're playing defense, you have to want impact. You have to want to hit somebody. And because there's no two-a-days, because there's no, basically padded practices anymore, you see it's like 7-on-7 football to these defenses. And you watch Utah, it's not 7-on-7. They're ready to hit somebody and they're ready to knock your head off. And I think that, as the season progresses and we get to, this middle part of the season, the toughness is coming out.
Mm-hmm. When you look at this season now that we've kind of reached the halfway pole for most teams in the country now, or even a game past it, speaking of that defensive presence, when you look at the landscape right now, who are the teams that you see out there that can legitimately compete for a national title because they've got the bones on offense, but they can stop you on the other side? Well,
I think Oregon can. The thing with the Pac-12 is the Pac-12 decimates itself around the same time every year. You get a team, you know what I mean? Like Utah, if they're out of it, they've already lost a few times. They beat a team like Oregon. Oregon had the game against Washington. Washington pulls it out. So, I think Washington, Oregon out of the Pac-12 most certainly, can compete on any level. I'm curious to see how Georgia does without probably one of the best players in the country. Yeah. The tight end Bowers this week against Florida. I don't, Michigan is kind of hitting all strides, but I'm not sure if that's just a reflection of them knowing the defensive calls and offensive calls for the entire season. So I think that even Ohio State, like I doubted them last week against Penn State, and I thought Penn State had all the weapons in the world. I thought they matched up well talent-wise, but they just weren't used to pulling the trigger and being aggressive, and they, conservatively got their butts kicked, in Columbus. So, but that's kind of, and then who's ever going to come out of the SEC? They're going to have one of the 4 slots. It doesn't matter what their record is.
When you're traveling on the road, do you have any rituals or anything that you like when you go do, and if you haven't been to a certain town, or do you just kind of listen to the locals and kind of go from there?
Well, it depends. So I grew up about 10 miles from here in Berkeley. So when I go to Berkeley, I'm on a scouting trip right now, not to look at Memorial Stadium, but there's a place halfway down the hill called Top Dog, which has got the best like brats and hot links and hot dogs, like French roll. Outstanding. So my ritual is finding the best food I can.
Nice.
And doing that. I don't necessarily go down on the field every game. Like, and one of my play-by-play guys years ago, it's like, why don't you want to go down there? I was like, all right, well, I'll go down there. You want to go down there? I'll watch. And they ask me, all right, what do you think of the quarterback? And I'll tell them, all right, this is what I like about his throwing motion. This is what I don't like about his throwing motion. And sure enough, in the game, that comes out. And they're like, how did you know this? I'm like, I don't know. I threw a lot of balls, but I will tomorrow, because a guy like Caleb Williams. And last year I did the same thing when we did the Florida-Tennessee game. I had to go down there and watch Anthony Richardson throw a ball. And it was jaw dropping, the hose that the kid had an arm. So I will, when there's a transformational talent on the field, I will go down on the field and just watch the guys warm up and that. But outside of that, it's all about food on Friday and food on Saturday.
Are you a regional food guy? Like, you listen to the locals, like where you need to go, or are you seeking out the comfort? Like, every town you go into, you're trying to find the dogs and the brats.
No, dogs and the brats, because here the Top Dog is just the Top Dog. But it's more of, what's the best restaurant here in town. Now, I could go to Chez Panisse here in the Berkeley Hills, but I think I would have a call about 4 months ago and make a reservation. So I am, like I tell my buddies, I am Italian, so I like all food.
Absolutely perfect. Gino, thank you for taking a few minutes for it, man. Have a great time on the call. Please go down there and give all the blessings to Caleb Williams, my favorite quarterback, and have a wonderful, wonderful time back home, and enjoy all the dogs at Top Dog.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys.
Thank you, Gino. That was Gino Tetta, former Heisman Trophy winner in Miami, and all-around good dude. We definitely need to find a way to get Gino on the show every week.
Absolutely, yeah, he's a great one.
I absolutely love talking to the guy.
Yeah. By the way, we've got coverage of that game tomorrow, 1 o'clock on 910 ESPN Portland, USC at Cal.
There you go. That's right, Oregon. You have to hear USC. Deal with it.
What time is that game?
1 o'clock, I believe. Or is
You
that
don't
when
really
coverage
have
starts?
to hear it. If you're an Oregon fan, their game's at 12:30.
Yeah, they're going right up against each other.
Are they? Are they, though? Yes, they are. Of course they are. Go listen to Oregon, Utah. It's going to be a much better game because I have zero faith in the Trojans for the rest of the season. They're dead to me. There's nothing you can say on the text line. There's nothing you can say in the YouTube comments. There's nothing you can say to hurt me. I'm dead on the inside. I have a small black heart. All right, coming up next, we will talk about a little something that Gino mentioned there. The Utah Utes, Kyle Whittingham, and the Oregon Ducks have their matchup tomorrow. What are some things to take a look at ahead of a feature matchup? Danny and Dusty, Danny and the Fan.
Ducks game day with Dirt and Anthony Newman at 8 o'clock.
At the butt crack of dawn.
Yes, taking you up to network programming at 10:30, and then they'll hand it over to Jerry and Jorgie and Dusty for kickoff at 12:30.
There you go.
And of course, stick around after network programming for the Ducks postgame scoreboard show.
And see, this is why I have two producers here.
I'll be right there.
There you go.
Also, when did 8 o'clock become the butt crack of dawn?
For guys like Danny, it is.
8 a.m. is not the butt crack of dawn.
8 a.m. for covering a sport is early.
No, not for college football. College football is at noon. That's when games start.
8 a.m. for most people without kids can be early.
Yes.
I don't have kids. 8 a.m. is not early.
No. I'm talking about getting up and working on a Saturday morning covering a sport.
Yeah.
I work nights, sir. That is 12 hours almost earlier than I start covering
I
stuff.
understand, but that's like me saying, well, the game got over at 9 at the dead of night. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, no,
that's not how time works.
That's late-ish.
9 o'clock is not late-ish.
All right,
For finishing a football
You can't
game?
have both of those. You can't have 9 o'clock being late and 8 o'clock being early.
No, I'm still in games usually by then, to be honest. No, late is when I get home from covering games, which is usually around 12:30.
Yeah.
Right. And I will give you the dark of night.
Yeah.
The mid of night. There you go.
Especially now. That's the one thing. Oregon gets super, super bright in the summer. Like you were above that 45th parallel.
Yeah.
Like the sun stays out till 10:30. I had a buddy who had never been up this far north. He'd always been in California, Arizona, Florida. And he was up here this summer and he was like, dude, what the hell is going on? Why is the sun out at 10 o'clock? I go, welcome to the 45th parallel, brother.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm like, if you keep going north, it stays brighter longer. And he that did not compute in his brain.
That's what I remember when working mornings and starting, at 6 o'clock, being here 5:15.
And the sun is just hammering.
Well, and having to go to bed during the summertime at 9 o'clock, and it's still light outside. It's damn near impossible.
It's super weird. I was telling my wife the other day, in North Dakota, in the winter, I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, true butt crack of dawn for work when I was in the Air Force.
Right.
And I would go into the office about 5:30, still pitch black outside.
Yeah.
I would be done working at 3:30, and it would be
dark,
pitch black outside. And this would go on for about 65, 70 days.
Yeah.
And you want to do horrible things to yourself.
Yeah, that much darkness is not good for anybody.
You get out, you're like, please find a way to get out at lunch,
Yeah.
to go outside for the 2 hours of sunlight. Even though it's 20 below zero,
Right.
go get that sunlight. All right, now we have like 2 seconds to talk Oregon, Utah here. So we'll probably bag that a little bit just because we talked about time. We'll push that to a little bit later. We will talk about Oregon State and Arizona. I've seen a lot of folks already pushing back on the idea of like how this should be a game that Oregon State is worried about. We've got the text line up here. It's open throughout the day. And apparently Dirt and Sprague were talking about it this morning. So I always scroll back through because I want to see what chaos they caused in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's usually pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because they usually rile up somebody.
Yes.
I feel like
they're good at that.
I feel like Dirt has that innate ability to really poke.
Oh, they both do, but in different manners.
Yes.
Yes.
And I can always scroll back through and I can see who pissed off who because they never don't leave out the name.
Right.
It's you don't ever have to guess. It's like it's usually Dirt bleepity bleepity bleep or Sprague bleepity bleepity bleep, and it's always very funny. And I know Oregon State is forever going to feel like little brother.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But throughout this week, we've talked about Oregon, Utah, and Oregon State. And yesterday, I put a graphic up that had, I believe, Bucky Irving in it, and said, "Oh, you guys aren't going to talk about Oregon State?" It's like, guys.
First off, there's only room for 4 pictures in this graphic.
Yes, I don't want to put like 12 things on this. It's just a graphic. Chill.
Yes.
Also, home of the Ducks.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing.
Look, and we do talk Beavers.
Yes, but also coming up next on Danny and Dusty, we will talk Oregon State and Arizona, making the weird, creepy trek down to the night game at Arizona and the weirdness that involves. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel
Whoa.
chair.
He could reel it. He could reel it in. He could reel it in. He doesn't because he knows that when it's impossible to do.
Yeah.
Look, I know. I'm a basket
Content.
of cats, and it's not. You can't corral those cats in
No.
any matter of like safe amount of time.
Right.
Well, I think we did set a new record yesterday. We were 22 minutes into the show before
We broke
hit
at 12:24.
our- 24.
Yes.
Whoa.
Which is the time that we're about getting ready
Which is
to
3
head
minutes
out.
shy of when we're supposed to break in the second segment. Yes.
Credit to Will, producer Will, keeping you guys on the clock.
Sometimes you just got to let things roll.
For those wondering, Will tell me, gotta go to break, gotta break, and I will just
Yep.
plow right through that.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
don't I know.
I had to stop doing that. Now I do it to Rob because I think it's funny because it bugs him.
Oh, see, yeah. See, now Rob should be better about that. He's done TV where you have hard breaks, so
Oh.
he should be able to just plow right through that, no
You
issue.
would listen to Dirt and Sprague in the mornings and just the utter disdain they have for swag yelling at them in their ears. They just openly talk about it on the air too. I mean, like, stop, it's enough.
He
I
taught
know.
he taught me how to produce, and like I should be saying 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute to break, 30 seconds to break, break.
Yeah.
break.
See, I'm just like, if we get about 3 or 4 minutes over, I'm like, hey, we gotta go.
Yeah, that's what you gave us yesterday. Was hey, we really gotta go.
Heading into the last segment, yeah, we gotta go.
A little inside baseball there for you. So, but Oregon State is heading down to the freaky deaky desert that is Tucson. It is a crippling place for any and all to play. It's not like they have this, otherworldly presence because it's Arizona. They're really drunk. It's late at night. It's going to be warm, but it's just a weird place to play. Like I said, I've been down there a couple times, and taken a couple games. There's something about the lighting on that field that is super, super weird. It's like the only thing I compare it to is the a-hole behind you who's driving with those super bright LEDs on, and then he clicks his brights on.
Yeah.
Like they have like bright LEDs that feel like they're on the field, and it lights it up in a way that feels fake, which, I mean, like a lot of things in a lot of the people in Arizona, the lighting is also fake. Just going to go out on that limb, if you can't draw it, we're talking about boobs. But Oregon State is a team this year that their identity is both traditional in the sense of dictating, but also they've shown that they can be multiple. And that has always been the big thing about Oregon State under Jonathan Smith is they always had everything but one thing. Now, I would argue that one thing right now is that they're lacking the secondary being as explosive and dominant as it was because, they had guys back there in their 9th and 12th years.
Yeah.
Super useful to have like 30-year-olds in the defensive backfield who have seen it all. Shout out Jaden Grant, who I believe, year 6 or year 7?
Man, yeah, something like
He
that.
had been there forever, so he had quite literally seen basically everything. He was essentially an NFL player with the amount of time he had spent in college. With that said, DJ Oyunlele is not the best quarterback in college football, but he is so significantly more valuable to what they're doing at Oregon State because that is what they're lacking.
Yeah.
Last year, they were missing something, a game breaker,
Right.
and having the ability to go to him. Take the Oregon State Cal game where they put up 52. They can win that game, or they can win like they did at Utah, where they just beat the living hell out of, like Gino Tetta just talked about, who was just on with us, one of the most physical teams in the country.
Yeah. Well, and that's because, Oregon State can be the physical up there right with anybody. And the thing about DJ is that, like you said, he's not the best quarterback in the country, but sometimes it's about fit and the way that you fit into a place. And we're learning that he just fits there.
No, and I think that's exactly it. And the interesting thing here is, if I told you that Arizona was allowing under 100 yards a game rushing,
Wow.
would that surprise you?
I mean, I haven't watched a ton of Wildcats football, but yes, that would surprise me.
I have watched the Pucker Cat, the Arizona Pucker Cats.
Yeah.
That's what they are for me because they should have beaten USC.
Yeah.
Go for 2. For the love of God, if Arizona is in this game with Oregon State and there's an opportunity that calls for them to go to 2 and Jed Fish does not go for it, so help me God. They should be 5-2 right now. They genuinely should. They took Washington State to the woodshed. But Arizona is a team who does not have a ton of 5-star talent. They have Tetrell McMillan, who is an absolute monster. He is, I believe, listed at 6'5". He plays like he's 6'7". Just like you see him on the field and you go, that doesn't look right. Because in the NFL, most guys are kind of capped at like 6'4", 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the freaks that are much bigger than that.
Right.
You get the occasional guy that rises above that at the left tackle spot, 6'7", 370 pounds. You're going, oh, dear God. Hey, Trent Williams, how big are you? Who was the Ogden for the Ravens?
Jonathan Ogden.
Just an absolutely massive
mountain.
I think Orlando Brown was 6'6".
Pace.
Pace. Yes, I'm sorry, not Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown's just fat.
Yeah, no, he was just fat. No, Orlando Pace was, I want to say 6'6". Just these massive human beings. But you see McMillan, he just looks different on the edge. And you see him in coverage with even your best DBs in the country, 6 foot, 6'1". Every now and then you get a Tariq Woolen, who's, I believe, listed at 6'4",
Okay.
where you get some guys that are longer that can match up in coverage. But again, watching him against Washington, who you've got a horde of wide receivers. Rome Odunze's 6'3", 215, and just an absolute massive human being. But even you see on the other side of the ball, McMillan, you go, yeah, what are you supposed to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Oregon State has to try to figure out, because Fafita has gone out there, and Dusty and I have talked about this. He's a little man.
Yeah.
He's a little man quarterback.
Yeah, somebody said 5'9"?
He's listed at, I believe, at 5'10", if I remember right, on his. Let me pull it up here. His actual stats.
ESPN's got him listed at 5'11".
Yeah, that ain't it.
In cleats.
Yeah, in cleats, he's 5'11". The Blazers played a team from New Zealand Breakers in preseason. They had Jackson Cartwright, who hilariously played at Arizona. He's now cutting his teeth in the NBL overseas. He's listed at, I believe, 5'10", 170 pounds. He is 5'7", about $145, soaking wet.
Yeah.
So apparently the Arizona measuring department for Littleman, doing guys solids everywhere. Every one of these guys is listed at 5'11" on Tinder. 100%.
Right.
What are you talking about, 5'11"? They're listed at 6'1" on Tinder.
Hey, that's
Come on now.
Look, you can't.
You know the game better than
you
that.
can't get away with it.
Yes, you
You
can.
can't say 6'1".
Well, you say 6'1" because if you say 6 foot, all the girls go, well, that means he's actually 5'11". If you say 6'1", they go, oh, then he might actually be 6 feet tall.
What,
and then
what
they
happens
see
to those
them.
guys when they show up?
Well, you just hope that you're funny and charming.
Are you wearing lifts?
Hey, dude, it happens sometimes. It's never happened to me. It's never a problem I'll have, but
Do you just put
rub
6
it in,
foot down?
dude.
do I put?
Then that
I
way
tell
you
people 5'11".
You show up, then you show up at, what, you 6'5"?
I am, 6'5".
Okay.
Official.
See, that'd be the fun way to do it.
Yeah.
If I was your size and I was out there in that cesspool of a dating pool,
I'm not on Tinder. I have never been on Tinder.
none of the apps.
No apps. Never been an app guy. I'm more of an entree guy.
Do you want to go back there?
Hey, he's sitting in the dad joke chair.
God.
No, but that's real. I've never used an app, which is terrifying because now people are trying to set me up. And
Well,
it's
yeah.
a whole thing.
There's 2 ways to do this, Will. See, we're going to derail another segment here.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways to do this, Will. You can do the in real life thing, which your generation is terrified of, or you can do the app thing.
What if I do the it'll fall into my lap thing?
I mean, so here's the thing about that. Normally, I would make fun of you endlessly, but it's quite literally what happened to me.
It's what happened to me with all my other girlfriends.
Well, but those don't count.
That's right, because they're exes.
See?
And they live in Texas.
All of them?
All of them.
Maybe you should go to Texas.
I bet I do well there.
I mean, you do, yeah. Yeah, you could swap the beanie for a cowboy hat.
100%. Get some boots.
Oh, I could see that.
Get some Red Wings.
Croc boots.
I could see Big Will Ortner in a cowboy hat. Oh,
Croc-
yes, the Croc boots.
Croc boots?
Yeah.
Dude, just wait until I get a big belt buckle.
You don't have one yet?
No, I don't wear belts.
Why?
Well, I only have 2 pairs of jeans and they fit me pretty snug.
How much weight have you lost?
65 pounds.
How do they fit you snug?
Well, I bought them new. I bought them recently.
Okay.
I've basically been 260 for the last 8 months.
See, I know belt is a foreign concept to me because I have no ass. So otherwise my pants just fall down.
Well, I
not
squat a lot.
Yeah, not a problem I've ever.
I carry all my weight up front.
Yeah, even in my skinny days,
Yeah.
not a problem that I have.
A lot of hip thrust going on over here.
Yeah,
You know that exercise?
IG influencer workouts.
Yeah, I follow Summer Rae. We get
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah. that one lost to you, Rust?
Yep, completely.
That's an O.
That's
It's an O in summer, not a U.
yeah. It's a whole lot of junk in the trunk.
Gotcha.
Think influencer pants.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The ones that make you
Yeah. Gotcha.
pucker up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kinda-
That's,
She's
Yeah,
a
that.
DJ. How dare you, sir?
yeah. Come on.
What? I love her music.
Yeah. Huh.
It's
Mhm.
great.
All of her influencer photos and videos. That one.
I don't follow her, but
No.
I'm aware. I go.
So
I
you
go
stalk?
and search. No.
No. No.
No.
Constantly
No.
going to somebody's page without
Not
following.
constantly
That is
going.
stalking.
No, not constantly
Oh
going.
my god.
When I am trapped and I need a booty workout, that's who I go and follow. It's like when I need golf tips, I go to Paige Spearnack.
Makes sense.
She was a pro golfer.
Yeah. Worst places to go for that.
It all tracks. It also explains a lot. But still, we're back to the no belt.
Yes. I don't own one.
What do you do when you wear nice clothes?
I don't own them.
We forget. He is what, 24?
I'm 26 now.
26. Okay.
Have you not been to a wedding? Like as part of like
No, I went to like 3 this year. I bought really tight pants, so I didn't have to.
You tucked your shirt in?
Kind of the parts of it that fit in.
Yeah, see, that's where you need a belt, dude. You can't go tuck with no belt.
Yeah. What?
Oh shoot, maybe I didn't tuck it in.
You went untuck it?
I think I went untuck it because I bought really tight blue pants. They were like $10, so it's like whatever. I'll buy these 3 weddings. I'll keep it tight. I just like don't try to do the splits on the dance floor.
You need to get the Big Will Bets Bank Fund and get like a outfit that you can wear to nice things that has a little bit of flex in it. I would suggest maybe the Nike golf pants that have a little bit of stretch in the
bit give.
pants. I know that because my big ass is quite literally sitting in a pair of Nike golf pants right now. I think I was going to sit here at a radio show, sitting in this chair in pants the entire time and not be comfortable.
Oh, trust me, I got my stretchy Old Navy jeans on.
Have you moved on to the stretchy pants yet?
No, I'm actually actively trying to avoid stretchy pants because now
Why?
I can wear tight pants.
Live, young man.
You can wear tight stretchy pants and they're more comfortable.
But then I gotta like shop. Like you're adding a lot of different
What is it
things
that you
for
do
me.
here?
What is it? What do you mean? What do I do here? I like to work out, and I can wear shorts for that.
Sure, but
I guess I'll say, look, the only clothes that I buy myself are like my t-shirts.
okay.
Jeans, I couldn't tell you the last time I bought myself a pair of jeans.
I'm 26 years old, and I've still never bought myself a pair of shoes. And this is the closest I did. I picked them out.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me. I got completely derailed. Oregon State, Arizona.
Go Beefs.
This is a game where this screams trap game. Don't be mad at me, Beaver fans. I'm picking you to win, but this screams trap game. It is a nighttime kickoff. The line, look, if you want to be scared of this game, Oregon State is favored by 3.
Ooh, yeah.
That tells you, I think, everything you need to know about this game. If you think Oregon State is that much better, and the companies that have gotten rich off of everybody else thinking they were right,
Yeah.
are telling you it's a 3-point spread.
Right.
That's a little bit terrifying.
Well, and look, Arizona, they have been, I don't want to say a laughing stock, but they have not been a very good team the last few years. And they're 4-3 this year, but those 2 losses in conference
Or to
were
Washington,
to
USC.
top 10 teams and 1-score losses.
Yes.
And one of them in triple overtime.
Yes.
They're playing good ball.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing is how does Arizona go about this game? Because Oregon State does present a lot of different problems for Arizona to solve. USC, they took the first half off against them.
I do have a theory for this one, and you can go on Twitter and Instagram to at 1080 the fan. This is one of the big Will Bets plays. I think the difference here might be that Oregon State actually plays man football, as opposed to the 2 teams that they played close and the team that they beat. WSU, UW, and USC, they are more spread offense based. They do not try to run the football down your throat. Oregon State went toe-to-toe against Utah and out-physicaled Utah to win that football game. So for me, I'm leaning more towards the Beavers in this game, just because they are going to present a different style that Arizona really hasn't played this year. And so you don't know if they're even going to do well against that play style.
Yeah, and the only thing that they've shown is that they offensively they're willing to run that ball because they will with Jonah Coleman, otherwise known as the human bowling ball, listed at 5'9", 225 pounds. If he's 220, I'm 500 pounds because that man is not 225. He is probably about 245. He is an absolute truck of a human being. He looks like a little mini Jerome Bettis, and he's super fun to watch run when he's not running against your team. So I expect them to at least try to match that, but also try to exploit matches on the outside. It's going to be very interesting to see how Oregon State secondary deals with what has been a difficult passing attack to deal with. I mean, they hung 44 on Washington State. They were able to hang points all over USC. They were able to hang with Washington, a Washington team that, look, defensively has looked in. We have not talked about Washington being good enough defensively. I think that's something that's gone under the radar. An Oregon offense that has been potent was, I don't want to say kept in check, but looked a little bit stagnant. Arizona State, while they don't have the weapons, they weren't able to do anything with them. So you look at Arizona's offense and you go, look, they were able to put points up on Washington too. So even though that, like you said, Will, that is a spread team that they're dealing with, it's going to be very interesting to see how they're able to handle that. How they're able to handle Arizona, or Oregon State is able to handle Arizona. Arizona is able to handle Oregon State's if they opt to go the ground attack. I'm really hoping we get to see 5 or 6 scripted runs from DJ on some RPO actions early out of the gate, just to see if they can get a little bit weird. I think they've been really successful with that over the last couple games. All right, coming up next, did Josh Allen do enough to right the ship for the Buffalo Bills last night in what was a sketchy Thursday night game? Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
A needed Pac-12
They decided they didn't want to do that early out of the gate against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football, going for it on 4th down at the 1-yard line and not getting anything out of it. Folks were getting ready to get their pitchforks out for Josh Allen right out of the gate, but it turns out the Bills are not dead.
No.
After that, they come back and get a touchdown. They hold the Bucs to a stop, but then the literally next play, Josh Allen throws an interception. And the memes are back on. And even though Buffalo's up 10-3, the Bucs go down, tie it up 10-10. They trade again. They get to the half, 17-10 Buffalo. It is a nice long drive again by the Bills where Josh Allen gets things under control. And from there, it pretty much coasts out, and you get the backdoor cover by the Bucs. Did you take the Bills or did Dusty?
I must have been Dusty. I didn't touch this game.
I remember somebody taking the Bills in this game. But the Bills were mostly in control in the second half. It was 24-10 early. The Bills opened up the second half, marched down the field, hang one up. It's 24-10, and that's pretty much all she wrote as they went punt, 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 punt. For the next, 2, 4, 6 possessions, eating up, I believe, about 15 minutes of game time. It was an ugly second half. Yeah. Again, you get a 17-play, 92-yard, 7.5-minute drive from the Bucs to get within one score, but that's not enough time for Tampa Bay to get things done. End line for Josh Allen, pretty impressive. 31 of 40, 324, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, taking 2 sacks on the night. The Bills finished with over 400 yards of total offense, only 24 points. Did you see enough from Josh Allen to be like, okay, we're good? Or are you still going, buddy, the timing of these turnovers and the missteps in the red zone, you got to get this sorted?
Well, look, and he had a touchdown on the ground, too.
Yes,
this Buccaneers team is also they're not as bad as we thought they were going to be. They're kind of middle of the road, but Baker Mayfield is helping them, keep their head above water basically. But yeah, I think that Buffalo is turning things around. They're not the same team that we saw early in the season. And I think Josh Allen and company, they're going to be just fine.
I look at this game and I go, what the hell are the Bills? And are they this team? The team that is going to make mistakes, and Josh Allen doesn't have his woogie in Daboll anymore, and you just got to kind of fight to live through them, even though they're shorthanded, they're missing a few guys, that they're able to overcome adversity. But are they able to minimize the dumb? Because that...
Well, that's the thing is, that they're going to make those mistakes that it's just that are head scratchers.
And against better competition, look, the Bucs have been a decent little story. They're 3-4 in the year. Dustin and I talked yesterday about which middling quarterback would you take in a version of that I ultimately ended up on of all of basically the bottom 16 quarterbacks. Which quarterback would you most likely take? I ended up on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And I was like, and again, Baker, 25 of 42, 237, 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks. Not a great game, the percentage-wise, particularly. It seemed like every time they went for something deep, they weren't able to really connect on it. There was a couple drops of the game, but other than that, I thought decent. Again, stopgap quarterback play. Yeah. But if the Bills are gonna be real contenders, how the hell are they gonna? I know the NFL's survive in advance. Not everything's got to be pretty. Yada yada yada. But my God, can you show some growth?
Well, and look, as much as they struggled early on in the season too, if you look at the standings, they're tied with, of course, with the rest of the week still pending. But both they and Miami have 5 wins, and they've got 1 more loss than Miami, so they're still right there in the playoff picture too. It's just how well are you going to be able to overcome these dumb mistakes that get made?
The fact that we're still doing this with the Bills is just wildly frustrating.
It's Buffalo.
Right? It's like, come on, guys. Can you please just figure this out? All right. Speaking of figure things out, maybe Ryan Horvath of BetMGM can help us figure it out. We will go to him next here on Danny and Dusty. First, here's Big Will Betts with the Sports Center update.
This is a Football Friday edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the fan, the Blazers are looking for a better result in their home opener hosting the Orlando Magic. Right now, the Magic are undefeated on the season, 1-0. Blazers guard Anthony Simons has been downgraded to questionable with a right thumb injury, so he might not be available in this one for the Zers. Portland is currently favored by they are 2.5-point dogs. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:10 over at the Moda Center. Game 1 of the World Series is scheduled to get underway tonight in Arlington with 2 wildcard teams meeting in the Fall Classic for just the 3rd time ever. Zach Gallen gets the nod for the Diamondbacks. Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. First pitch is scheduled for 5:03 on 910 ESPN Portland. 2 big games for the Ducks and Beavs this Saturday. First, number 8 Oregon traveling to Salt Lake City to take on 13th ranked Utah. Kickoff from Rice-Eccles Stadium is scheduled for 12:30. You can listen to that game here on 1080 The Fan. Coverage starts at 8 with the pregame show, the Ducks Game Day show with Andy Dirt Johnson and Anthony Newman. The 11th ranked Beavers, they're on the road also taking on the frisky Arizona Wildcats in some Pac-12 after dark action. Right now, OSU is favored by 3. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 over on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Watch and wager on every game at Spirit Mountain Casino with a sportsbook powered by BetMGM. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
One number does it all for contests and text in your favorite fan shows. The Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6FAN.
Sponsored by Lowe's. Shop Black Friday every day and get the best new deals all month long. Only at Lowe's, because Lowe's knows deals.
Aloha, Portland sports fans. It's Marcus from the 808. Rah, you looking for some on grinds? You need some Kalbi ribs, terry chicken, or that katsu from 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Check them out at Burnside, Woodstock, or online at ate-oh-ate.com. Mahalo.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800
BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Also, be sure to listen to BetMGM Tonight podcast for more of Ryan Horvat's analysis. Just search BetMGM wherever you find your podcasts. Horvat, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Feeling a little bit better. I got stuck with. I ended up catching stomach flu somehow. I didn't know what it was, so that was a mess. But now I'm feeling a little bit better, and right in time for the weekend.
Nice, yeah, no kidding, brother. You were on the IR as much as I am, and that's not good. Like that's like, I mean, thankfully you just pick up like stomach bugs and weird stuff happening. You're not breaking anything anymore, so we'll keep you as on the questionable on the injury list. Speaking of, you take a look around the NFL right now. What are the injuries that are impacting lines up and down the board that you're kind of monitoring to see, who are we going to get here? We've already seen that Tyrod Taylor looks like he's going to be the quarterback for the Giants this weekend against the Jets. Is there anything else out there that you're kind of monitoring as we head into the weekend?
I've had my eye on Kyler Murray, actually. Now, I don't expect Kyler Murray to play in this game or anything, but he's taking his next steps towards coming back. And I was actually wondering if Arizona was going to play him at all, because I thought the goal for the Cardinals would be, let's tank without saying that we're tanking, win a couple games, get a top 3 pick. Then it would be really interesting. You know, do they draft Caleb Williams? Do they draft Drake May? Or do they try to get Kyler some help, maybe another offensive lineman or wide receiver like Marvin Harrison? But yeah, with Daniel Jones being ruled out, you know, that doesn't really do a whole lot for me, just because I'm kind of done with the Giants. A couple other ones, though, that I've been looking at. The Dolphins, actually. Tyreek Hill is dealing with a hip injury. We both know that a hip injury is nothing that you want to mess with, and they're going against the Patriots, and that's a big spread, you know. So that was one that I was looking at, because New England, I don't think they're a good football team or anything like that, but I do think they kind of found something last week. They're playing with a little bit of momentum. If we're going to continue to get like double-digit spreads, might have to bet them. And then the other one that I was looking at, just a couple like random injuries for the Indianapolis Colts. I've been going back and forth with this game because I kind of like the Colts. They were 1-point favorites, now they're 1-point dogs against the Saints. This is more just for me a fade against the Saints. And right now they have James Hurst, one of their offensive linemen, dealing with an ankle injury. And then Alvin Kamara was sick. He didn't practice. And then for Indianapolis, though, I'm kind of keeping an eye out on Zach Moss. He's dealing with an elbow and a heel injury. He's been really good, man. I know they just committed to bringing back Jonathan Taylor and paying him all that money. I don't know if that was the right decision, because Zach Moss looks really damn good right now.
Selfishly here, we did our picks just about 24 hours ago, yesterday on the show, and both Danny and I took Jacksonville -2.5 at Pittsburgh. The line's gone down to -1.5. Does that have anything to do with like Cam Hayward coming back to practice? Because I haven't seen that he's been activated or anything. But what's with the move there?
Yeah, that's a really good question in that game. I mean, like I kind of figured that the Steelers were going to take some money, just because it's crazy, because like if you look at their point differential, they're like -13 or something like that this season, right? And they've been outgained in every single game, but because of Mike Tomlin, they keep finding ways to win. And they're the weirdest football team, because everybody talks about their defense. When they're getting pressure with TJ Watt, then they're a top 5 pass defense. But when they're, you know, rushing or blitzing the quarterback and they don't get home, they're a bottom pass defense in the league. It all comes down to, are they getting after the quarterback? So I usually like them against teams with beat up offensive lines or bad offensive line play. If it's a team with strong offensive line play, like you go back week 1 against San Francisco, they didn't really get a pass rush, and then Brock Purdy picked them apart. But I just think a lot of it has to do, I'm kind of confused, because like if you look at it, Joey Porter Jr., Wallace, and Pierre, all questionable, and they're all DBs. They were all limited today, but at least they were like at practice. So maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of a line move, because you're going to need a healthy secondary going against Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville, even though they have ETN, they don't really want to kill you on the ground right now. They want to push the ball down the field with Christian Kirk and, you know, all those weapons, and Trevor Lawrence. So I'm with you guys on that one, though. Like, I feel like that's going to be the sharp play, is going to be the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are a good football team. I don't trust Kenny Pickett. And I do think the Jags are going to win double-digit games. I definitely think they're going to win the South, and I think they're a legit contender. I mean, they won a playoff game last year. Granted, it was handed by the Chargers, but I do like this Jags team quite a bit this year.
Duval, baby. All right, let's flip it over to college football. We have one big matchup. College Game Day is heading down there, or it's actually already down there, down to Utah and Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Oregon Ducks are heading into Utah. It's a tighter spread than I think most people would anticipate, considering Utah is on their third and fourth quarterbacks, their fourth running back, who's also their starting safety, missing one of their starting linebackers, and I believe one of their starting defensive linemen. Two of their tight ends. I think that gets it all. I think I have a rundown in my head now because that team has been so damaged. How in the hell do you bet this game, knowing what you know about Utah and Kyle Whittingham teams, and yet knowing how good Oregon has been?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Kyle Whittingham, I think this just proves that he's a top 10 coach in the country, if not the best coach in the nation. Because look at this team; it's kind of like a makeshift team. They haven't had Cam Rising, they haven't had Keithy all season long. And then they have all these injuries on defense. They have a pig farmer as their starting quarterback right now, but they keep finding ways to win. And I don't like betting against Utah at home, especially if we got some like cold weather. But I do like Oregon. Oregon's offense obviously has been really good. And they're not really explosive, which I think is a good thing here. They're only 73rd in explosiveness, but they're second in success rate. And that's because Bo Nix leads the country in completion percentage. He's throwing short a lot this season. Take what the defense gives you. And over 70% of his pass attempts this season have been under 10 air yards. And I think that's a good thing against this Utah pass defense because, you know, like last week we saw an offense that lives off explosives in USC with Caleb Williams at quarterback get absolutely shut down. Like Caleb in that game only averaged 7.3 yards per attempt. Pro Football Focus had him at 68.6. In Utah this season, they're 11th in passing success rate allowed, second in passing explosives allowed. So you really can't beat them with those chunk plays down the field. But where you could pick them apart is just that underneath stuff. Even Graham Mertz, you know, week one for Florida had a pretty good game. Granted, Florida lost the game against Utah, but he was able to complete over 25, over 23 passes in that game. So I actually like Oregon. And the other thing is, man, Oregon, what nobody ever talks about when they talk Oregon, they're kind of like becoming the new version of Utah. They're not your like typical Chip Kelly, flashy, just a bunch of speed. They're tougher in the trenches. You know, they're going to get after the quarterback in this game. And on the other side, I think they have, if not the best offensive line in the country, definitely top 5. Bucky Irving's averaging 7 yards per carry.
Useful.
And the best thing about him is, you know, even with the great offensive line, he could break some tackles. He could make guys miss. I just think this is a bad matchup. I get why people like Utah, but even at 6.5, I like the Ducks, man. I think they win this game by a full touchdown.
Yeah, it feels like a stinky line no matter what. Even if you like the Ducks, something just doesn't feel. To me, this feels like Baltimore Detroit last week when I very stupidly took Detroit in the points before getting absolutely shredded by Lamar Jackson. The NBA is upon us. We've got a couple games in. Damian Lillard makes his debut for the Bucks and goes absolutely bonkers. Victor Wembanyama comes out and almost brings the Spurs back. What new face and new place so far in the first couple days has made you go, okay, I get what they're kind of doing here? Or, I don't know, in the case of the Houston Rockets, let me go ahead and smash the under on that win total.
Yeah, the Rockets are going to be terrible. I'm glad that you brought them up because I actually kind of like them. We see some crazy line movement. So they were 1.5-point favorites on the look ahead. There's 3.5-point dogs on the road against the Spurs. I'm going to bet the Rockets. I'm going to lock this one in right now. I don't think the Rockets win many games. But I do like them tonight because with the Spurs, they're going to be good, I think, in a year. I think in a year they could win 45 to 50 games. I think this season, even with Wemby, they're going to really struggle to close out games in the fourth quarter. And we saw that a little bit last year in the first half of the season. They were a good first half bet because they would be competitive. And then in the second half, you know, we thought it had to do with tanking. I remember one game where even like Pop drew up after timeout play with like 10 seconds on the clock, and they didn't even get a shot up, down 2. So it was a bad product, and I don't think it's going to get much better, but damn, is Wemby fun. Like, he looks like an NBA 2K player out there. I mean, he hits threes, solid rim protector. Unfortunately, only had the 1 block, didn't go over the 2.5. I did bet that. But he's going to be a lot of fun. I just don't think San Antonio is going to be very good. All my buddies in Milwaukee are flipping out over Dame. They think the Bucks are going to win the finals. I don't know. I don't know that I like the Bucks more than Boston, to be honest with you. I didn't know what that KP move was going to look like, but then he scores 30. He's enough of a rim protector. And Jason Tatum's just, I think this is his year to win MVP. I like Tatum. I like Devin Booker, you know, for MVP this year. And I think those guys are going to have monster seasons. But, man, Milwaukee's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, Boston's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then in the East, a team that nobody's talking about, and they're not going to win the finals or anything like that, but I think they could be a sneaky 6-7 seed. I like the Magic a lot this season. And then in the West, love the Thunder.
Yeah, I'm with you on that Magic team. I just mumbled it out there. They beat the Rockets like a drum on their opening night, and they're come to Portland here tonight, where they will take on the Blazers, which looks like without Anthony Simons getting underway here tonight at 7:00. Back to Dame in Milwaukee. I've had probably about a dozen people either text into the show or on Twitter ask in the last probably 10 hours whether or not that Damian Lillard as a sneaky MVP candidate has any real juice. Do you think that if they finish as the 1 seed and Dame is the driving force behind that, do you think there's any real value in going down that route?
Such a great question, because even with like Devin Booker, that's what I was worried about a little bit, because you have Durant there, you have Beal. My angle with him was those guys are barely ever going to play. They're going to use a bunch of load management. I don't care what the league does to crack down on it. We haven't seen Bradley Beal yet. So that was my angle there. With Milwaukee, the problem there is Giannis is going to play, knock on wood, unless he gets injured. Giannis is going to play at least 70 games. Mm-hmm. And he's going to average close to 30 points, close to 15 rebounds, a couple blocks a game. He could win Defensive Player of the Year every single year, and I'd have no issue with that. So I think that's the only thing that takes away from Dame. You know what I mean? Like, even for Coach of the Year, I don't think you could give anything really to Milwaukee. I think it's just like, if you want to do anything with Milwaukee, you have to play them to win the championship. I don't even know that Giannis would win the MVP, even if he averaged like 35 and 20. I don't know that he wins MVP with that team now this year. You know what I mean? Like, because like the narrative is right now that they're this deep team. I actually have some concerns about Milwaukee. Like, the reason I like Boston more is the depth, and I'm not really worried about the Marcus Smart loss as much as I thought that I would be after watching him the other night turn the basketball over a bunch. And they looked fine defensively against the Knicks. Boston did. But, like with Milwaukee, man, I just don't know about the depth. We'll see, what Cam Payne can do. I don't know if I trust him when we get to the playoffs. And then how healthy is Chris Middleton, because he's still on a minutes restriction. He only played 16 minutes last night.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting to watch how things unfold for Milwaukee and Boston, to be honest. I think that's the best race in basketball, is which of those two teams is going to be the team that comes out of the East, because the West is a bloodbath and anything can happen. The East, I think, is pretty much locked in between two teams. Horvat, thanks for joining us, brother. We always appreciate it. Feel better, and we'll catch up with you next week, all right?
Thanks, guys. My lock of the week, the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be nasty. We saw it last year at Lambeau Field. They shut down Justin Jefferson. He's not playing in this game, so they'll shut down Jordan Addison. Jair Alexander's back. Devondre Campbell's back for the defense. And Jordan Love can't play any worse. And Aaron Jones has a full workload of practice this week. So I love the Packers. Great spot against the Vikings, guys.
Look, they've owned the purple for quite some time. It'll be an interesting kind of turnaround, even with that level of quarterback play. All right, we'll check in with you next week, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. That was the host of BetMGM Tonight and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, Ryan Horvat. Insider calls are presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest betting lines on the BetMGM app today. Horvat alluded to something there that I wanted to get to coming up next. The NBA put out tighter restrictions on load management, particularly in national TV games. What happened last night? We'll talk about that and more coming up next. Danny and Dusty.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome.
It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Man, that sucks.
Welcome back into a Danny and Rusty edition of Danny and Dusty. Dusty on the road with the Ducks, heading down to Salt Lake City for tomorrow's top 25 tilt between the Ducks and the Utes. And today's worst day on the web brought to you by Nightmare Fuel. This is a story coming from Taiwan, founded on insider.com here. A woman who heard abnormal sounds in her left ear discovered that a small spider had crawled inside and shed its exoskeleton. The unnamed 64-year-old went to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor after 4 days because the incessant beating, clicking, and rustling sounds left her unable to sleep, according to the case report in the New England Journal of Medicine. On the first day of symptoms, she'd woken up with the feeling that a creature was in her ear. During a physical exam of her left ear, doctors found a small spider and its exoskeleton in the external auditory canal, the tube that connects the outer part of the ear to the internal part. They removed it with a suction tube attached to an otoscope. That's the tool that doctors use to look inside the ear, and her symptoms immediately went away. So she didn't feel any pain because the spider was very small, just about 2 or 3 millimeters, according to the doctor. And anyway, spiders in the ear.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a big old nope.
Yeah.
Whole lot of nope in
leaving
there.
behind its exoskeleton. And they say that you have to be more careful if somehow the said spider has already done damage to your inner ear, like the eardrum. You can't just use the suction cup. You have to numb it up and go in there and get it. They say
Is the spider like gonna like chew on your eardrum?
They say you can do other further damage in there. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how.
I am again, we should all know this. I am sick and I am twisted and all those things. I love when I come across videos on TikTok of like things being removed from ears.
It just gives me the willies.
Have you ever seen the one of those like they pull like a wasp or like a botfly, like a big bug out of somebody's ear?
No.
It is the most amazing, terrifying thing ever. Like, I don't know what it was. I could just hear this sound all the time. Like, did nobody look in there and see the giant insect? Like, how did you not know?
It just reminds me immediately of I think it was The Wrath of Khan. That Star Trek movie. Was that too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all I know about that.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Look, I'm not a bug guy. Bugs, I don't do well with bugs. Anything with more than 4 legs, no thank you.
My wife screamed at a spider on the outside of the car yesterday, and then I knocked it off and said, okay, good. And she got in the car and she thought she saw a spider and she screamed. She's very anti-spider.
Yeah.
Like the most anti-spider.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's the size of a dinner plate, shout out camel spiders, or like there's one of those little, I think it was like one of those little jumping spiders, you know what I'm talking about? It has like little fuzzy legs.
Yeah.
It's actually, see, it's kind of cute. See,
Giving me the willies.
You know the one that I'm talking about? They move.
Spiders are not cute.
Yeah, no, they're not.
It moves like it's like on crack. Just like there's like this really super skittery movement,
Right,
and not
yeah.
like the like super slow, like predictable spider movement.
Mhm.
It was one of those, and I was like, oh, it's a cute little floaty spider.
Yeah, no, they can go right to hell.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day on the show, right? I think it was this week, or last week.
Maybe last week or something, yeah.
What-
Spiders came up again somehow.
Yeah, but there was a particular word for it where the spiders like throw their webs up in the air. That it's like a nest full of babies and it catches the wind.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot what that was.
It sounds. I mean, I think you could call it demon flying.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
But you know.
Yeah, and so it says, ear, nose, and throat doctors often find foreign objects in people's ears, and they say that insects account for around 14 to 18% of these objects, according to a fairly recent study.
Shout out the Vancouver Ford text line. Kill her with fire. Mind control and earworms. That's
Called
what we got here.
ballooning.
Ballooning. That's
Ballooning.
What it is.
They are the originators of the big hot air balloon.
This also on the Vancouver Ford text line. Kill her with fire. I'm assuming this woman has a spider in her ear. Can't chance her being infected by the spider and starting another plague. Sorry, those are the rules.
What if she becomes Spider Woman though?
Well, I mean, did you ever see, was it Family Guy, where Family Guy gets all their superpowers and the Mayor West goes and rolls around in toxic ways and gets cancer?
I've never been a big Family Guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've seen that one.
they're
Yeah.
like, well, it probably was all the toxic waste that you went and rolled around in. It's like, I don't know if you want to be the guy that tries that out. Again, the Vancouver Ford text lines, all texts of the Van Live are via the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit vancouverford.com. All right, coming up next, Portland Trailblazers do make their home debut tonight against the Orlando Magic. What to expect? What do you want to see? Does it look any different from game one? That and more coming up. Dan and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
I'm Michael Jenkins, helping you beat the books with BetQL. Denver and Kansas City meet for the second time in 17 days on Sunday, and the BetQL model is riding the Chiefs train. KC has won 16 straight against the Broncos, with quarterback Patrick Mahomes winning 12 of those games. Denver
at 12:30. Pregame here at 8 a.m. with Center in the State starting at 6? 6.
Yeah.
6.
Early.
6.
I'll give you the butt crack of dawn for 6.
6 is early to talk sports.
I'll give you. Hey, as someone who had to do it the last couple of weeks, it's early.
Yes, it is. Early.
I took a nap last week.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I took a nap here.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Well, they're the best, Luke and Will.
Shout out to those guys. Pivoting super hard here because this is come up over the last hour. It happened, I would say, the post happened last night, but I didn't notice it until this morning. The Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, they went on a Dame time-esque walk-off, so to speak, against the Philadelphia 76ers, 118-117. Dame goes for 39, gets to the free throw line 17 times, goes 17 of 17, 9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 12 from the three. That's not the problem. SportsCenter tweeted out a video of Dame saying he didn't come here to waste time. That in and of itself is not a problem. What is problematic is that ESPN/SportsCenter used AI to superimpose a Bucks jersey over the top of Damian Lillard's Blazers jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that in and of itself is super weird. Like memes, clips, obviously fake things.
Right.
Totally fair game. The use of AI here to change this is, or really, really, really good editing.
Yeah.
Is problematic without any level of disclaimer.
Yeah, and something that's supposed to be kind of newsy. It's I don't know how to describe this. AI, the artificial intelligence, all of it, just to me, I just kind of continue to be baffled by it. Like I get that are good things that it can do, but it seems like the good things that it can be used for is a small sliver of what it actually does wind up getting used for.
Yeah, and to make another layer to this and to go seriously inside baseball, I remembered this clip and I was like, I think that's a TNT interview.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the actual video, I don't know, I'm going to show this to you, Russ. If you guys want, it's on my account at Danny Meringue right now. I retweeted it out with some comments on it. Russ, do you notice anything about that microphone flag?
Well, ESPN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. Was it an ESPN broadcast?
Probably not.
It was not. It was a TNT broadcast. You know how I know? Because I pulled up the clip of the previous broadcast, and guess what I found?
Yeah. A TNT mic flag and a Blazers jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I guess the biggest question is why?
Yeah, this all feels super weird and like stealing somebody's content, not a foreign concept in the social media era.
Right.
Misappropriating it and doing it in this manner,
yeah,
especially coming from the official SportsCenter account, is super weird. And this is the first time we're really having a discussion about AI and social media. This is at least the first time that I've seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like this before?
Not like this. No. Well, and it's the fact that on the tweet too, the headline for it says Dame didn't come to Milwaukee to waste his time. Well, this wasn't
what
this quote was about.
This is in either it looks like it is the bubble, if I remember right, because it's an August 11th, 2020 game.
Uh-huh.
So it's not in Milwaukee, but in Florida.
Yeah.
And not in a Bucks jersey, but a Blazers jersey.
Right.
That in and of itself is not problematic, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there's no disclaimer. There's no, and I've seen some people say, oh, well, it's obviously fake. Buddy, go ahead and click the video. If you're not from Portland,
yeah, right.
If you're just a regular fan, you think that this is Dame last night after the game.
Right.
And you know how I know? The comments are telling me that was Dame last night.
Well, the one thing that I would say to those people too is when was the last time you saw somebody on the doing an interview like that at the end of a very long boom when the mic.
Oh yeah, the boom mic from 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Again.
And Chris Haynes standing 6 feet away.
But also, he's not in the video.
True. Valid point.
So
yeah, it just feels
dirty, right?
It feels icky. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's anything there that's like you should be doing.
Yeah. And I guess
it's also not necessary.
Right. Exactly. That's why it just comes back to why. Why do this?
Take the quote, Photoshop the jersey, and just throw it up.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
Because then it doesn't feel like you're taking somebody else's content and you're not trying to trick people.
Right.
This feels like that's, I think, the dividing line here.
Yeah.
Is that you're trying to trick somebody with this.
Right. Yeah. No,
they're not trying. They're succeeding.
Yeah, they are. You're right.
Because if you don't say anything about it, I'm a pretty in the know sports guy. I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I don't know if I would have necessarily gone, oh, that's not from this game. I would have just been like, oh, okay, like a former Blazer, Damian Lillard says something about how he wants to win. He said that all the time, and I don't really think anything of it. I think it's more of just the nature of the beast and what we're going to have to deal with AI and with social media, because there's a lot of times, how often do you get a letter that it's from someone not important, or you see a tweet of an apology of somebody that they just go in on Notes app and you look at it and you go, well, I'm not really going to read that. I guess like cool story or sorry for whatever happened to your loss, right?
Right.
So when stuff like that happens, you see these companies and they're going to go, well, I can do the same thing with this AI and I can generate it and I can have some dude sit in a basement, probably his mother's, and work on this and then create this image, and then everyone will think, wow, what a cool thing that Dame did. It's more about telling something in a cool way as opposed to telling the truth.
I just saw a reply to one of the comments. We don't need to deep fake something that's real.
Right?
That's what I mean. Like,
no, exactly.
That leads to very little trust in the transaction, as it were.
Well, and why do they feel need to have to frame it this way? Say, Dame's had this mindset for several years. You know what I mean? Going back, this is what he said in the bubble. That's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's super strange. I don't really get to that. Talking about the Blazers tonight, it does sound like Anthony Simons. Anytime you get the downgrade to questionable, Blazers parlance, that usually means not going to go or going to give it a run.
Right.
In warm-ups and see how it goes. I'm going to be over there in about an hour and a half. I'll check in and see if I can find out what's going on. I thought it was a little bit strange that Ant only played under 27 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to him after the game, so I didn't hear anything. Otherwise, I didn't hear anything from the Blazers that Ant had any issues. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit of a surprise when I saw it pop up yesterday. I was like, huh. That's weird.
Well, then let's face it, though, too. I mean, they were down 30.
True, but also
it
was super weird because he missed 10 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. That's the 10-minute rest. 10-minute rest is not normal for him.
Right.
So they are taking on the Orlando Magic tonight, as we talked about with Ryan Horvat on our insider call from BetMGM. The Magic beat the ever-living hell out of the Rockets. It was a thrashing of epic proportions. Jonathan Isaac has returned to the Orlando Magic. He is a Defensive Player of the Year, capable defender. He is 6'10" with, I believe, a 7'4" or 7'5" wingspan.
That's long.
He is dumb long. Jalen Green tried to dunk on
the entire
him.
team just dumb long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Mo Vaught. I mean, you run down the Wendell Carter Jr., that team is big as hell. Even Markelle Fultz, 6'4", 6'5". I believe he has a near 7-foot wingspan.
Man.
Like, they have a type.
Yes. Yeah.
They have a type.
Much like your type we talked about.
Very much. There's a straight correlation. There are types to be had. You can see it on the cameras, but you can't hear what I say during the breaks. Neener. But
inside stuff.
Yes, but they have a type that they go after and that they use out there. Without Anthony, it is going to be very interesting to see if Anthony does not go. I would imagine they start Shaedon. Maybe they go Malcolm to try to steady things for Scoot. I'm very interested to see without Anthony being, he's by and large their best player.
Right. Well, because if you bring Shaedon into the starting lineup, then you've got Scoot on ball for most of it, right?
Yes.
Which is kind of what we're trying to avoid a little bit at this point.
You're not sure if he's ready for that responsibility, which is why. Hell, maybe they drop. I don't know if they could do that to him. I don't know if you could drop Scoot out of the starting lineup.
Yeesh.
Not right away.
Right.
Like I said, I want to see 12, 15 games before they're going to make that change.
So bring in Brogdon and Shaedon and sit down Scoot?
Either that or you bring Brogdon in. I don't think you can start Shea if Anthony's out tonight.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You're not allowing Scoot to have like a safety blanket.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's either that or Jeremy's going to be out there running a lot of stuff, and I don't know if you necessarily want that either.
Right.
Because Jeremy's going to be like, well, I like Jeremy Grant post-ups.
Yeah.
So we're going to run me some Jeremy Grant post-ups and get things going.
And of course, on the other hand, they are playing for a draft positioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but it is their home opener. They don't want to suck.
Right.
Like they want to put on a good show tonight. They want to look good. look, and I said this on Twitter the other night, and some people understood it, other people got their panties in a bunch. The Blazers don't need to tank this year. It's going to happen naturally. They're not going to need to rest guys.
Right. No, yeah.
They're going to suck on their own.
They're just going to be bad, yeah.
Like, you're going to get games where they're down 30 because that's who they are.
Yes.
But it's so this whole idea of like, well, they need to make sure they get shade minutes. The fourth quarter is going to be there for minutes, okay? You're going to have an option for Scoot to play 10 minutes in fourth quarter. Shaden, 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Like, whatever minutes they get, they don't necessarily need to make sure they're getting 25 to 28 in the first three quarters.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get 10 in the fourth. Like, that's... Kamara's going to get some minutes. DeAndre Ayton's going to get some... Well, I guess he doesn't really need them. But, I mean, you understand. Like, you're going to get guys. Jabari Walker's going to get minutes. Hell, Ryan Rupert and Chris Murray are going to get minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the world that we're operating in.
It'll be interesting to see who they start out there. I feel like Brogdon is the way to go if you want to have, some decent ball handling and point guard play out there.
Yeah, you need something to balance some things out and make it a little bit easier on the rookie Scoot. That has been the horn that I've been blaring all off season and leading to this year is that you want somebody else out there. You don't want him having to run everything.
Right.
Ease him in, make life as simple as on him. Make the decision tree small.
Right. And because Ant is, he's still young, but he's in year 4, 5, 6. Yeah, see, exactly. So it'd be a little rough to take him out of the lineup and then alongside rookie second year Shaden.
You saw how rough things looked when Scoot was running things.
Yeah.
Ant took over, settled things down.
Right.
If you don't have Brogdon in that lineup to settle some things down and it's Shaden, who settles it down?
Yeah.
It's not Tease. I don't really think it's Jeremy. DA has to look a lot better than he looked on opening night. That's actually the bigger question I have. And I think, again, Brogdon...
Well, and is DeAndre Ayton who you're turning to when you want things to calm down?
Exactly. And that's what I'm thinking. Brogdon has to kind of be the way that you go here to try to...
Calming veteran presence.
Then that's why you keep them around and why you don't trade them.
Exactly.
So
you got to have one.
I mean, in case somebody gets hurt, all of a sudden now you're 21 years old across the roster.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, guys, there's not that much depth there. All right, coming up next, we will take a look ahead into the NFL weekend and see how weird it'll get based on this schedule as opposed to last week. Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Chargers Bears is like who sucks in a more different fashion. The Bears just general suckiness, and the Chargers finding a way to suck less. I don't know how that's actually going to work itself out.
What, Jets Giants doesn't do it for you?
I mean that's sucking in the Meadowlands. Ravens Cardinals. The Ravens sucks less than the Cardinals. That's not fair. The Ravens have actually been really good this year.
Yes.
Seahawks Browns. You do get the Seahawks wearing the throwbacks jerseys. That is a reason to tune in. I will be watching that game because I am a sucker, and I took the team with the very bad quarterback play, which we haven't talked about Deshaun Watson and the insane stuff that's happening with the Browns. And so let's start there. Deshaun Watson, this is a will he, won't he play. I was reading in an athletic chat, one of the Browns writers was talking about how the organization feels like this might be it with Deshaun Watson, which I don't know how this can be it with Deshaun Watson because all of his money is guaranteed.
Yeah, so you're just going to cut the check and be like, bye? I mean, that seems dumb even for the Browns.
Well, it's not. How does fully guaranteed buyout work in the NFL? I have not gone down that because you never see it.
Right.
Does that money still sit on the books?
I mean, it would have to.
Will, do you know?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
If they were to buy out Deshaun Watson's contract, does that sit on that as dead cap?
Here's the thing. Much like the economy, I don't think cap is real.
It's not.
Because there's ways that they can finagle and move it around.
Not that much.
It's
all guaranteed.
But you can move it and turn it into like now it's a signing bonus, so then it doesn't count against the cap. There's a way to move around some of it, probably not all of it, but you can move some of that around, I would think. But
if he's not a part of the roster anymore, I don't think you can transition stuff to signing or roster bonuses because he's no longer around.
It might be an unprecedented thing because
that's what I mean.
The last time that someone with guaranteed money got cut? I mean, it's literally Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins are the two that pop off like in my head of like they have guaranteed fully contracts.
And even if they do it, are they sticking with PJ Walker?
Oof. No, they're going to figure something. Look, even if they stick with Walker for the rest of the season, they'll figure something out going forward. But I mean, I just started thinking about that. I don't know the financial implications of that.
Because let's face it, they're 4-2 right now, so they're not exactly competing for the number one pick.
No. I mean, their defense is lights out.
Yeah.
That defense is one of the best defenses in football, man. They beat the living crap out of the 49ers. It was not fake.
No.
You know, they came back and did it. Look, they did it against the Colts. It got a little bit weird, but they have impact players all over that defense that can sit there and drive you crazy on as far as game planning and figuring stuff out, which is why I took the Browns in the points. Even with their inability to score, they somehow, some way get something done. They put enough points on the board like they did against the Colts last week.
Yeah.
The Seahawks have been a very, very good defense. I still took the Browns just because their defense is so good, but I'm wondering just how broken this is. Like on the Vancouver Ford text line, it's Watson the QB version of Albert Hainsworth. Get paid, then pretty much quit. That is the last time that I remember somebody with guaranteed money disappearing.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to remember, too, he basically sat out 2 years because he had the year where he sat out was / like NFL wanted to suspend him, but he didn't want to play in Houston. And then he got suspended for most of last year as well. I don't know how much of it is like rust or is it like, did he lose it?
Well, I mean, we watched Michael Vick go to prison and come back and play better.
Michael Vick cared.
But still.
He had some give a damn in him. And
but
I'm
also,
not sure that Deshaun Watson does.
Fully guaranteed he'll do that to you. But also with Vick, like, it's not like he's playing football in the yard.
I don't know. I've seen longest yard. It looks like that happens from time to time. The competition might not be as good. Are you telling me that that's not a real movie?
I'm just saying maybe the fear of getting shanked on your back on your blind side is a little more worrisome in the yard. Not that anybody would touch Michael Vick because he's an angel, but also, again, the whole away from football thing, I get it, but it's not like Deshaun Watson wasn't capable or able to go work out and continue throwing a ball, being like active, all those kind of things, where Michael Vick quite literally wasn't allowed to, and yet he didn't lose it. And now the competitive factor is certainly there. The give a damn is certainly there. You might be looking at Deshaun Watson saying, thanks for the bag. Appreciate you. For those that aren't aware, he's currently, I believe it's an AC sprain in his shoulder, in his throwing shoulder, which makes things very difficult.
Well, and I've seen it called so many different things. Bruised rotator cuff. There was something of a scapularis, or
Yes.
you know, I mean, yeah.
I'd say I correct. It was not the AC. I believe the AC was Anthony Richardson. He had the torn AC joint. It was the
rotator cuff. Yes.
And the team is saying, yeah, it's damaged, but it's not bad. He can play through it.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, he was physically, medically cleared to play, and he didn't.
This is the Gary Payton II of the NFL.
Yeah.
Where the team's going, we're good here.
Yeah.
Like, we can't nudge you on the field because, well, in the world of concussions and everybody's saying that football players are too stupid to know it's okay for their body or not, they have to kind of defer here. I'm going to say this out loud. I'm with the Browns organization here.
Agreeing with the worst person in the world.
Yeah, that one hurts a little bit.
Well, but look, they did it to themselves.
Oh, they did, and they absolutely deserve it.
So yeah, they got it coming to them.
It would be funny if they couldn't get out of this and they still cut it, and they're stuck paying that money because they fully guaranteed it to that monster.
Yeah, and they knew exactly who they were guaranteeing to, and that's why I don't feel sorry for the Browns at all.
What non-Bengals 49ers game? Because, buddy, Texans, Panthers, Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Jets.
Commanders usually play the Eagles tight.
They do, but Falcons, Titans are wearing the throwbacks. That's a reason to tune in. Rams, Cowboys.
I was gonna say, does that do anything for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of suck on this schedule.
Although, Jaguars, Steelers could be a good one.
It could. I mean, look, if you're talking about the teams with the best records, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one.
Sometimes you need a berry picking weekend. Sometimes you need a weekend where you go to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, you know what? That's what this is. You're getting a little bit muddy. You're going out there. You don't want to go, but you're going to go out there and you're ultimately. I don't want to go.
Well, here's the thing.
Look at my J's. Look how crispy white they are. I want to wear them. I can't wear them to the pumpkin
and his
patch.
Crocs have holes.
Yeah, also the Crocs do have holes.
Yeah.
Although I do have Crocs without holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holeless Crocs?
Yeah, they're little. They're fuzzy.
Fuzzy holeless Crocs?
Uh-huh.
I think most people call those Uggs.
Yeah, no, they still have the sport mode.
They're fuzzy, but with sport mode.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the funniest damn things.
2-wheel drivers, 4-wheel drive.
You pull the back flap up, or let's stick it in the back, and it's sport mode.
It is, baby. Because you can't. I can tell you right now, you cannot. Oh, you got to snort there. See how easy it is to do?
Oh, I know. Hey, mine was the first one.
Look, man, it is impossible to run in regular Crocs out of sport mode. You cannot curl your toes hard enough to run in them.
Well, yeah, you don't run in slides.
But in sport mode, you can.
That's so dumb.
You can look, man. If you get the right fitting Crocs, you can go in sport mode 100%. You can get a nice little jog. You can the dog gets out loose out front and you got to go chase him down. Speaking from experience, you can do it. I can get to a mild jog or down the stairs relatively quickly. No?
Run them down.
I mean, let's be honest. I haven't run in 5 years, so that's not true. I did run once playing basketball a month ago, and that's why my knee needs work.
Yeah.
One time.
One time.
My God.
You just need to roll you out there in bubble wrap.
No, just the robot legs. I screw the bubble wrap. I know my legs are cooked. Let's just go
Get
full
the
on.
Darth Maul thing going.
Look, man, I am 100% in on robot legs. If somebody gives me robot legs from the knees down, I'm in. I'm in. I don't want to get rid of from the knees down because I got nice calves. I do. I got nice golf calves. You know, you get the golf shorts on. You get a little.
I see you, Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, you know. See, I got nice.
I get
calves.
it. As a small calved person, I get it.
Not to do a big squirrel moment.
Squirrel
here. Squirrel away. Some breaking news: the Blazers say Anthony Simons is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a torn UCL on his right thumb. He's set to undergo surgery soon. That's according to Sean Highkin.
Well, at least that bet'll void.
Brother.
And then he says, yeah, we'll find out in a few hours, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Malcolm Brogdon start in Simon's spot rather than Shaden Sharp for the sake of having a vet on the floor with Scoot.
Brother.
4 to 6 weeks.
I didn't know they had a UCL.
Well, I believe the UCL ulnar collateral ligament attaches at both spots.
Oh, I thought it connected at the what's the one in the elbow?
It is. What you have?
Oh, it goes all the way down.
Well, you have an ulna that connects at your elbow,
Yeah.
and you have an ulna that connects at your thumb.
I didn't know
So
that.
you have tendon that goes or ligament connects from top of the thumb back here. It means he got it ripped back. He got it ripped back.
Yikes. Well,
Okay. Well,
Ping pong balls.
There you go.
First pick. First
Ping
pick,
pong balls.
First pick.
Here's Big Will Bets with the Sports Center update.
This is a Football Friday edition of Danny and Dusty.
in his right thumb. He will be out 4 to 6 weeks. He will have surgery to repair it. I would strongly imagine that Malcolm Brogdon is going to go in Ant's place.
Yeah.
Good thing they kept Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, no kidding. Because you can't just trot out that much youth every single night. No.
Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot, they're going to get a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
This is at least 6 weeks out for Ant, I would imagine. The thing about this is that he won't be able to use his right hand for a ton, which sucks. I had a broken wrist in high school where I had the hard cast on my right hand. For those youngins that may be listening, this is pre-laptops in school.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to write left-handed.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, let's just say my grades dropped significantly that semester. This is like, look, in the grand scheme of things, this is not like, oh my God, the Blazers, their playoff chances.
Yeah.
No, they just went from winning 25 games to winning 20.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 19. They might be in the teens.
Well, we had a texter bring up, maybe they might break that Sixers record for consecutive losses to start a
18,
season.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not touching that.
Yeah.
They have the Rockets early, I think, don't they?
Do they?
I thought they did.
Let's take a look-see here. But yeah,
I know that their first 10 is not great.
Yeah.
Because they go out on the road.
And look, sometimes you're just bound to stumble backwards into a win, too.
You fall backwards into a win in the NBA. There's 82 of these things.
The sun even shines on a dog's ass some days.
100%. This does make it easier to sort out the guard rotation. It does not make things easier for Scoot Henderson. That's the thing.
Well, I might almost say that him playing more minutes alongside Brogdon might be good for his development.
Brog's not really an off-ball guy either. I mean, he can shoot the hell out of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Brog and Ant are both better with the ball in their hands. There's no doubt about that. But it's about what they can kind of dictate towards teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the veteran side of Brog can be helpful there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is bad. Like I'll say all this and they'll beat like Orlando tonight. They're like, see, they're fine. They're better off without Ant.
Exactly.
We'll go full Blazer fan on this. It'll go completely sideways.
I don't think they play Houston until it looks like January.
Is it Detroit that they play early?
Yes. See, so Orlando tonight, Philly, Toronto, Detroit.
There it is.
Yep.
That's your win.
Yeah.
I knew they played one of the really crappy teams right out of the gate. I just can't remember where that was on the schedule. This is. Look, it's not in the grand scheme the worst news ever for the team, but they're going to struggle mightily. They did get injured in the one place they do have some like actual body depth.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to see Skylar Mays playing now a fair amount. Good thing he's on a 2-way deal where he can appear at least 50 times before being converted. But yeah, this sucks. This was an opportunity for Ant to really break out. And maybe that's why he started to struggle a little bit in that third quarter he got thumb raked on and was like, something's not right here.
Right.
And that's why they held him out for the rest of the game. Now, being downgraded to questionable and then being downgraded to questionable because he got an MRI that said his thumb was torn.
Yeah.
Two very different things.
Yes. I didn't realize Brogdon's the only one officially listed as a point guard on the roster. At least according to ESPN here.
Him and Scoot, right?
I guess Scoot, they just have guard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They have Scoot listed as just guard and Ant listed as a 2?
Yes.
Huh. I would, if you're going to give the guard tag to anybody on that roster,
it'd be Anthony. Yeah.
That's a little weird. Because Scoot didn't spend a whole lot of time off ball in the old G League.
Yeah. No.
Whole lot of point guarding.
Yes.
So, well, here you go. It's about to get interesting what Chauncey Billups does tonight in a matter of hours as the Portland Trailblazers kick off their home opener without their best player.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of I'm irritated right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a relationship with Ant. He's been the guy that I've been most proud of, kind of coming up since he was a little kid, and
right.
I was really looking forward to a big breakout for him, for him to show everybody what he could do, and it sucks for him.
Yes, it certainly does.
He came out in game 1 and looked special.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he had added the ability to get to the free throw line, to be more physical defensively, to change speeds and get downhill and really frustrate opponents. He looked like a pro out there. For him to have this big setback right out of the gate sucks. But again, grand scheme, the Blazers were going to lose a lot of games. They're going to lose a lot more.
Yeah. Well, in 4 to 6 weeks, that puts them back,
Christmas.
maybe Thanksgiving?
Christmas.
Yeah, because that gets you about, you're more like
Because we're basically November now.
Yeah.
So 4 weeks is end of November.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and that's if he's having surgery.
Yeah.
Look, I always err on the back end of these things. Then it's better when they come back. So like, when I'm told Gary Payton has been cleared and he doesn't return to play, it's a little bit weird. I would always err on the latter part of this. Plus, there's the ramp up. The good news is it's not a lower body injury, so he can stay in shape. After a couple of days, he can still go out there and do some stuff, which will be good. Not that Ant means to worry about getting in shape. Maybe he could eat a cheeseburger or two and get above 200 pounds.
Don't do it. You can never get back down below Ant. Don't do it. Don't eat the cheeseburger.
Yes, he can.
No,
that's
don't do
the
it.
problem.
Don't do it.
I think I've brought this up on the show before. He's tried to gain weight and put it on, and the second he does, number one, he sheds it. Number two, if he's above 200-ish pounds, he just says he has issues with like his hamstrings get tight. He just doesn't like his body. He's not a big dude. Like he doesn't have this he doesn't have the Dame frame.
Yeah.
Right. Like Dame's built like Maurice Jones-Drew.
Right.
Anthony's built like
it's like Russ compared to Bryce Young. They're the same height.
Yes, but
Russ is built to put on more weight.
Yes.
Bryce Young is built to be skinny.
Ant is built like who's the Alabama wide receiver for the Eagles?
Devonta Smith. Slim Reaper, baby.
Yeah, that's Ant. He's very lean, slithery kind of guy. So when he gets above 200 pounds, he says it kind of bothers his body. So
looking ahead at the schedule here for that timeline, around Thanksgiving, they play they've got a spot of 6 of 7 on the road, like over Thanksgiving.
Where's the big homestand in December?
Is December 14th. Starts at 5-game homestand.
That's it. That's his return.
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee it because you always want to bring a guy back at home.
Right.
That's just you don't.
Well, you're not going to do it in the middle of a trip.
No. Just get home. Make sure you're in your routine. You feel a little bit comfortable. You ramp up and you make it easy.
And that's actually 5 games, and then it's a run of what is that? 8 out of 9 at home, starting December 14th.
Yeah.
So
So there's his return point. Unless he comes back before that other road trip, not even having talked to him or the Blazers, that's where he's going.
And that's November 22nd is the last home game before the trip.
And that's a longer trip, right?
5 games, yeah. Milwaukee, Indiana, Cleveland, Utah, and the Clips.
Oh, they're going to lose so many games. They're going to lose so many games. Oh,
Think about the great draft pick you're going to have.
I mean, I'm not worried about that. They were going to get that anyways, but they're going to lock this thing up.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando, Philadelphia, Toronto, Detroit, Memphis, Sacramento, Lakers, Jazz, Cavs, Lakers, Thunder, Suns, Jazz, Bucks, Pacers, Cavs, Jazz, Clippers.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
I mean,
it's oof. Vancouver Ford text line.
Did they squeeze 2 wins out of that?
We are that bad. We are that bad. Yes. If you weren't aware of how much this team was going to struggle, you will be now.
Yes, it will be glaring.
You have two capable veterans who can dribble, pass, and shoot on this roster. And by pass, I don't mean can functionally make a pass. I mean that can actually trigger and run your offense.
Right.
Scoot will get there eventually. Shaden is definitely not there yet. You take one of those away, you might see Skylar Mays get real minutes here because he's a proper point guard.
Yeah.
And he can settle some. Honestly, if I'm Chauncey, my guard rotation now is Scoot with Brog, Shaden with Skylar.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Look, if you want to put Scoot and Shea out there together because you're feeling a little frisky and you want to put some veteran front court guys like DA and Jeremy out there together, fine.
And like Tease.
Go with God. Yeah, go with God. Basically the starters and those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I would not start them. I'm not an NBA head coach. I would not put Shaden and Scoot out there and say fly because I think those are the birds.
Not for any extended stretches anyway.
Yeah,
a couple of minutes here or there.
You know those birds? I think they're in like the cliffs of like South Africa where the parents push the birds out of the nest and like if they don't fly, they die.
Right.
That's kind of what I feel like coaching is right now with this group. Like if you put them together, I'm not sure they're flying.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So
that might be like that first Wright brothers flight.
Yeah, no, everybody was talking about the one that they did and not the one that they didn't do.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, when we get back, we'll wrap up today's show with your thoughts on how you thought or how you felt watching Damian Lillard make his debut for the Milwaukee Bucks, and then we'll throw to looks like Isaac's out here ready to go. He's got a bag pack ready to head to Vegas, so we'll throw you to Isaac and Sukin primetime after our next break. Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. a.m. with Dirt, Anthony, and Dusty. They'll head it off to...
Just Dirt and Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just Dirt and Anthony, not Dusty. They'll hand it off to Dusty, Jorgie, and
Jerry.
Jerry, thank you. My brain just stopped working there for a split second. Too many names. Nope.
I can tell.
At 12:30. Yeah, no. It was like when my neck freaking spasmed yesterday. It looked like I got reset in real time. All right. Who wins?
Boy, I think it's what? They got Oregon favored by 6.5. Is that right? I think it's the last I saw.
Sub-touchdown spread.
Man, that's a hard place to play, too. I mean, I guess I'll go with my heart, and I'll say I'm not sure they cover it.
That's where I was going to go. I was going to say I think Ducks win.
I could see this like a 3 or 4 point win.
Yeah, and I don't think it's one of those ones that's a close 4-point win. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the Utes get a backdoor cover on this one.
Just like last week with the old Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, nobody's running away with this.
No, and Oregon State is favored by 3 on the road in Tucson. Which way are you going with that?
Dude, it's Arizona, and this time of year at night, the Pac-12 after dark, weird things happen, and they have been playing really, really well. What do you say? It's 3?
Yep,
3.5.
3.5.
Is it up to 3.5? So money's coming to
Oregon.
I got it in at 3.5.
Gotcha. I was gonna say if it's 3, I might call that a push, and just I'd say maybe like
I'll take Oregon State to cover. This is a chance for Oregon State to show out. Because Arizona has looked so good for the past 3 weeks against Washington, against USC, beating the brakes off Washington State. They're kind of like this fun little underdog story.
Right.
Oregon State comes out there and shows, hey, we're not a spread team like Will was mentioning earlier in the show. They come out there and they kick them in the teeth.
Yeah.
I think that's – if Oregon State – you don't need style points.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
You get some style points. Maybe you get a little bit of love, and that's kind of how things go for them. I think Oregon State has a chance to kind of show out this weekend. I feel like the Oregon-Utah game is going to be a bit of a grind fest. It's not going to be pretty football. Oregon State, Arizona, I think actually has a chance to get super, super weird, like as we mentioned a million times. It is Tucson at night.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah.
Everything you could possibly think out there for it to be super, super weird. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Beavs. I think they're big haters of Halloween, big time haters of all the weirdness, all the gronkiness of the Arizona Wildcats, and they go out
the
there
orange and black helps with the Halloween theme.
See, there you go.
Right?
Like they're like, well, listen, man, we do this every week.
Yeah.
Like you think weird? We wear giant bright orange uniforms, which again, fire, love them, absolutely love them. Yes, a nearly 40-year-old just said fire. Sue me.
Sus.
I think they're fire too.
They're great jerseys.
It would only be sus if Danny was talking about a certain player in the jersey.
Which jersey?
Doesn't matter. If could be any player. That being said, Travis Kelce, good-looking guy. That could be sus.
No cap.
Who needs the drop board? You've got it here.
I was gonna say I got compared to him again. I got a new one.
No, you didn't.
Zach Bryan. I got a Zach Bryan comparison.
I gotta go.
An old school Will Ortner got a Zach Efron comparison.
You know what?
They didn't even say
you're
fat.
not getting Kelsey, but Travis Bryan.
Zach Bryan?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Zach Bryan, I'll give you Zach Bryan.
First of all, I am getting Travis Kelce. It's happened multiple times now. That's a trend.
That's
where there's smoke, there's fire, sir.
Yeah, I can see the Zach Bryan. The Kelsey, not so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you guys are older and you guys can't see as well as, the people my age or the youth. It's okay.
I feel like with Zach Bryan, you're getting closer to the right chromosome count.
Well, first of all, Zach Bryan is a great country music singer, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay being compared to a hot country music singer. Not afraid.
I'm a monster.
So cold.
It's not a song.
You are a monster. Perfect time of year for it, though, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Rusty, how'd you like that 2-chair?
Hey, well, I got a little wound up beforehand, get a little puckered up, but yeah, loosened up and, felt good.
You didn't grab a hold of the chair, did you?
Felt good. Yeah, it's got the...
No, not with your hands.
No? Oh, yeah. When I stand up, it'll follow up with me.
We'll let Souk know. All right, coming up next is Primetime and Ike Souk. 4 hours of power as they get you ready for their Football Friday edition. We'll catch you next week for Rusty, for Will. I'm Danny. Take care. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Ciao, Billy.
Stop your grind.